friends and family, this is SP News Nugget. We got a story coming out of Florida where a man, he took out his wife, his 3 kids, and the dog. You guys, I've got more to share with you, but let me share these clips, and then I'll share the commentary. Here we go.
Todt is not getting out of jail anytime soon.
No, Ginger, he's not. The judge ordered he be held without bond for those murder charges. The circumstances surrounding the killing still unclear tonight. Todt was silent in court this afternoon, and his arrest affidavit is sealed under a court order, leaving us with more questions than answers tonight. Anthony Todt locked in a cage at the back of the courtroom. He was the last inmate to enter the room and the first to face the judge.
Corrections staff is requesting that the Anthony Todt matter be handled first.
We'll do that. Todt stood silent, surrounded by corrections officers during his first appearance this afternoon. The hearing lasting less than a minute. His public defender requesting the judge to not read the charges he's facing out loud.
Judge Lattimore previously found probable cause for each of the charges.
The 44-year-old is accused of murdering his wife, 3 kids, and the family dog. Photos of the family circulating online after concern for their safety grew. The sheriff's office says Todt confessed to the killings, but he had nothing to say yesterday while on his way to jail. Any explanation as to what happened, Anthony? We still don't know how the victims died or why. His arrest affidavit is sealed under court order. But we do know Todt was under federal investigation for healthcare fraud. Federal agents say he was a physical therapist and owned a couple of clinics in Connecticut. According to the federal investigation, Todt admitted to billing insurance companies for services never performed in order to make payments on loans he'd taken out. Court records showed Todt and his family were also being evicted from their Celebration home. And we asked the sheriff's office for more information in that arrest affidavit. They told us they weren't releasing any other details, and it's unclear when that court order will be released, so we could get a copy of his arrest affidavit and hopefully learn more information about this murder investigation. We, of course, will continue to press for details.
Yeah, Greg, the documents say Todt told investigators he started billing for services he didn't actually perform to keep up with loans he took out. The documents show he was planning on pleading guilty when suddenly he started becoming hard to get in touch with, and the bodies of his wife, 3 kids, and their dog were found not long after. Monday, Anthony Todt was handcuffed outside his home in Celebration. Investigators believe Todt killed his wife, 3 children, and their dog at the end of December and had been living in the home with their bodies until that day. He was taken in the hospital first because they say he swallowed Benadryl pills and said he wanted to harm himself. Channel 9 was there as he was released from the hospital and arrested.
Any remorse?
But now, in this 36-page report we found, investigators say Todt has been on their radar since April of 2019. The document, which says Todt is a licensed physical therapist and owns Family Physical Therapy at 2 locations in Connecticut, alleges he was billing Medicaid, Anthem, Cigna, and more for therapy he never performed. The document goes into detail about the investigation. It says parents of children who saw Todt were interviewed. Here, a parent says their child took a month off physical therapy, but investigators say during that time, the billing continued. Investigators say August 3rd of 2019, they sat outside his office all day. They saw both offices were closed, but Todt billed Medicaid for 16 different physical therapy services he says he performed that day. Robert Wesley, the public defender in the murder case, met with Todt for the first time today. I tried asking Wesley what he observed. Does he seem remorseful at all? What is his state of mind?
The state of mind with his lawyer was answering the questions and letting us develop some process.
But he said it was too soon to tell. Now, the document also says investigators asked Todt if his wife knew about the fraudulent billing. He told them no. He also said his employees did not know about it, and he was the only one with knowledge.
At 11, the worst fears over a missing family from Connecticut have been confirmed. This story just so upsetting. Police say Colchester physical therapist Anthony Todt confessed to killing his wife, their 3 children, and their dog.
Now, investigators also tell us they had been dead since late December, I should say. Tonight, we're getting a better picture as to what led up to all of this. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Matthew Campbell is live in the newsroom with more of the details for us tonight. Matthew?
Well, Mark and Aaron, the bodies were found on Monday, so it appears that Todt may have been living with them for weeks. So many in Colchester who knew the Todts, they're in shock. They don't know why this happened, but this warrant, unsealed today, shows that after years of allegedly committing health care fraud, the walls were closing in on Anthony. After admitting to the unthinkable, Anthony Todt is brought to a police cruiser in a white jumpsuit and handcuffs. Police say the 44-year-old confessed to killing his entire family, 42-year-old wife Megan, his two sons, 13-year-old Alec, 11-year-old Tyler, and his daughter, Zoe.
Who was 4 years of age, born July 23rd, 2015. Anthony also killed their family dog, Breezy.
The details even breaking the hearts of police. Here in Colchester, where Todt ran family physical therapy, the pain runs just as deep.
I went to his business for my physical therapy. He seemed fine. It's hard to believe that someone could do something like that.
Police say Todt would fly to Connecticut to work at the two Colchester physical therapy offices during the week, then fly back to Florida on the weekends. Federal agents unsealing a warrant showing Todt allegedly collected tens of thousands of dollars from insurance companies by billing them for services he never performed. When federal investigators confronted him about it in November, he said no one else knew what he was up to and told them he did it to keep pace with personal loans he took out.
Now to have him in his own words saying that he was responsible, I think it's going to weigh on people differently today.
Records Eyewitness News found this week show the financial burdens were mounting. The family was served with an eviction from the Florida home. The Colchester office closed after police say Todt owed thousands in back rent and stopped paying workers. While his world was crumbling, locals don't understand why this father would take the lives of his family.
Just so sad. I feel so bad for their extended family. Whatever made him do that.
Now, when the bodies were discovered, Anthony was taken into custody. Police say he told them he was going to harm himself, so that's why he was taken to the hospital. Now, even though the children were homeschooled, grief counselors are at local schools in Colchester because the family is so well known. An autopsy rules the deaths a homicide, but it's still unclear how everyone died. Live in the newsroom, Matthew Campbell.
Okay, family, I'm going to share with you some things that they did not share with you in these three clips that I showed you. Now, first of all, this is Anthony Todt's wife that he allegedly taken out. And you guys heard that he did, take out the three kids, which was 13, 11, and 4 years old was the youngest, and the dog. Okay, so Todd has a history, you guys, a history. Let me share with you what this young man has been through in his life, because it changes your whole thinking. So when Todd was 5 years old, he woke up and he heard a bang. He heard a big bang, you guys. And so he walked into the kitchen and he seen two men that had shot his mother. And I don't know what all happened, but, they rushed her to the hospital. She had been shot in her face. Well, in her eyes. So she was blind. Okay? The bullet was still wedged into her head. Later on, his dad was a special needs teacher and very well known in the community, and the mother was too. Anyway, when they did all their investigation and trying to find out what happened and who would want to shoot and kill his mother, they found out that the father, Anthony Todd's father, had paid a student to go over there and kill his wife while he was engaged to another woman. And while they were shooting her in the face, in her eyes, he was taking pictures, his engagement pictures. Now, it all unraveled and everything, and his dad pleaded guilty. And he ended up only doing 10 years. But while the whole trial was going on, his mother could not believe that her husband, Anthony Todd's dad, did this. She even was a witness for him, saying that he didn't, he wasn't trying to kill her. He didn't pay nobody to kill her and all this. This young man, or older man now, Anthony Todt, being 5 years old, seeing this growing up. So I'm going to share that clip with you guys. But I wanted you guys to know that sometimes when things happen, there's always we want to think of this action, but any case there's an action, this was actually a reaction. You know, this is how he probably thought to handle stuff. He seen his dad do it. And like I said, the apple do not fall far from the tree. It may roll a little bit, but it don't fall. But what I don't get in this case right now is when he went to his first hearing, they asked the judge to not read out his charges. While he's sitting there twiddling his thumbs. Why not read out his charges? You know, he pleaded guilty. He said he did it. Anyway, you guys, people are not believing that this man done did this. And not only that, he took a whole bunch of Benadryl. So he was trying to kill himself with some Benadryl. Only thing Benadryl was going to do is either stop him from itching and make him sleep very well. So now, you know, he's just twiddling his thumbs. But I think he had a nervous breakdown because, and I'm just saying, I think everybody think that sometimes, you know, when people lose all their money, because they had plenty of money. They live right over there by Walt Disney. That is a very high area to stay. You know, just not everybody could stay there. They actually said, I think the rent there is like $4,000 or $5,000 a month. And he had 2 homes. And he flew every week. He flew every week. He left like Sunday night to go to Cincinnati. He worked all week while he was there, and then he'll come back home on the weekend. And she was a therapist. His wife was a therapist too. So this just wasn't just, oh, something just happened. You know, this man could not handle that he had failed. The money was gone. He couldn't probably face his wife. He couldn't probably face his kids. And he even took out the dog, you guys. All right, I wanted to share that with you because we're going to be talking about it Monday, live at 5 Central Time. I'll see you guys there. Be good, be safe, and be nice to each other. Bye.